Yo, what's good, everybody? Today I want to talk about my favorite Terry tech. Okay, this tech branches off into two versions of itself. So we have crack locks and crack loops. Okay, this tech was found by Be Ready. The methods of getting the tech was found by Be Ready, but the actual tech itself was found by a lot of Terry players. But Be Ready found a way to make this consistent, and it's so cool. So before we even hop on into this, I'm going to explain how the loops and the locks occur and how they are different from each other. It's very technical, so I'm going to put that in the end where I'm going to explain it. For now, I'm going to show you guys how to do it, but I'm going to explain in depth how it happens. Okay, so in order to pull this off, you either go for one or two down tilts. That way you can push your opponent far enough to get hit by up tilt still, but far enough so that they can only get hit by one hit of crack shoot. And make sure when you use crack shoot, it's the light version of crack shoot. If you do the heavy version, they might get hit by both hits, or it's not going to work at all. So make sure you use the light version of crack shoot. It can be the input version or the non-input version. Now previously, the way I used to do it was I would just space up tilt to the maximum distance that it can still connect, but I'm still really far away from them. But now down to pushes them the optimal space to do it. And no guys, this is not a true combo, it's a string, so be wary of how you use it because they can air dodge out. But if they air dodge away, just go for burning knuckles. It's all about conditioning your opponents just to have fun and mess with them, guys. So before I even go into detail, I want to use this as a disclaimer. Okay guys, Ken has this thing called Tatsumaki loops, right, where it's kind of similar to this. You have to learn the patterns, you have to learn the percentages and how this works. So I've learned how to Tatsu loop almost every character in the roster just by memorizing their percentages or just knowing it by heart, whether they're in rage or not. So keep that in mind before we jump into this because it's doable. Okay, crack shoot loops are affected by rage, okay, just like everything else. So when you want to know the percentages, it's going to be pretty hard to keep them in mind because they all change, but they stay in the same range. I'd say around 40%. I've tested it on DDD and Ken for now, but 40% was where it kind of occurred on both of those characters, and then around 100 to 90% is where it worked on them again at later percents when I had rage as well. So keep that in mind. Now the way you can differentiate a crack lock and a crack loop is kind of stupid, but it took me a minute to find this out. It took me all day actually. So you guys know in Smash how momentum can add up and send you into a whole new direction that basically would look weird. So you know how Robin mains would throw an arc fire and then they'll go and do down air on the arc fire, and then all of a sudden your opponent's going into like a diagonal angle away from the ledge? Well, crack shoot loops and locks work just like that. We're either making constructive momentum or destructive momentum, where either we're adding on to things or getting a negative output. And what do I mean by that? So when you hit somebody with an up tilt, right, they go into the air and they have to come down at some point, so it makes an arc. Okay, this is where things get weird. So in order to get a crack loop, okay, a crack loop is where your opponent lands on their feet. In order to get a crack loop, you have to hit your opponent as they're going up in the arc. Why? Because if someone's going up and you're trying to drag them down, what you do is you conflict the momentum, so the upwards motion makes the downwards drag not as strong as it should be. So your opponent lands on their feet, which is so weird. But if you want to do a crack lock, what happens here is you have to knock your opponent up with up tilt, and the moment they're descending, you hit them with the crack shoot and they fall down faster, right? Because now they're descending and you pull them down at the same time, so they're going to land on their back, which is so weird to me. It took me a minute to look at the video and understand that's how it works. So it's a really tight window to pull this off. So I'd like to say that don't try to rely off getting a lock or a loop. Just react to whatever you do get out of these two situations, okay? And it's pretty easy to react to, honestly. I have one more bonus trick where if you pull this off at ledge against me, Brawler, Little Mac, anybody with a trash recovery, they can't make it back. So that's kind of cool, but like that's not reliable. It just looks cool, okay? And you can get it without the up tilt variation as well. So that's a thing. But another thing I would like to say is, guys, I want to know if you guys are enjoying these because they're pretty short, but I'm pretty busy with school and I'm coming to the end where like final exams are coming up, so I'm trying to put out Terry content to help people out with Terry and keep it small because I've made really long guides with Ken in the past and I want to keep it small and straight to the point with advanced tech. Now, before we really do leave, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Make sure you follow Be Ready as well. On Twitter, I like to talk to everybody. So if you want to talk to me and get to know me, go ahead and follow me there, and I will respond to you within the week. I'm a busy person, like I said, but I will get to your messages, guys. I like to talk to people. And I also talk about how I feel about the meta, how I feel about my character, how I hate other characters, what I love about this game. I talk about everything Smash over there, and some other off topics about my life and whatnot. So go ahead and follow me there if you want to be a part of my Twitter gang. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you use these crack locks and crack loops to participate in Terry's crackhead gameplay, because it's honestly sick and fun to pull off. I'll see you guys later.